What is up, everybody? My name is Bobby. I do music, except that was kind of horrible. I'm not really a country guy. I've got some blues roots, but we're going to power through this anyway. So today we're checking out the Dr. Z Z-Rec module for the Synergy amp system. This wasn't a module I was originally going to pick up to add to my collection, which is, it's a lot. I have a problem. And the problem is I don't have all of them. It's from what I understand, I'm going to say that a lot, Brad Paisley's signature amp, the actual Z-Rec amplifier with the combo or that head in the cabinet. But then someone mentioned that it was, and I forget which YouTube video I was watching, but the original Z-Rec had a similar architecture to a Vox AC30, and I've been chasing Vox sounds. I have the Morgan, but I'm always open to more options. I've got tons of Marshall sounds. I'm always looking for more Marshall sounds, more high gain stuff, more clean stuff. I just want more stuff. I have a problem. Anyway, so I decided to pick this up, and I've kind of fallen in love with it for sort of Voxy, that kind of mid-nasal sort of thing, and even just some clean stuff. And the way this thing behaves is different. We're going to dive into it. So I don't know much about the original amp other than, like I said, it was Brad Paisley's signature amp developed by Dr. Z, and I think it was Trainwreck. But we're going to take it on the merits of how it sounds in my hands and what the hell is my hair doing? How it sounds to me, how it feels to me, and I'll give you my opinion as a non-country player. Spoiler alert, I think it's an awesome module. It's not just, it's not just a country module. It can rock, it can blues. So I do have some nitpicks with it, but we'll get to that in a little bit as well. So if you watch my SLO video, it's similar in that it's got two identical channels. So we're going to stick to the top channel so I don't knock my camera around or bump knobs on accident or what have you. And yeah, that should be good. Actually, we'll start with the gain low here. So each channel, gain, bass, middle, treble, and then we've got this comfort and speed switch. And what that does is sort of change up the compression. I guess on the back of the original amp, it had a similar speed, and I want to say that has some. I'm talking out of my ass. It's great. I want to say it affected the way it was the plate voltage on the power tubes, I think is what it was. And they've replicated that in a preamp. There are no power tubes here. Apparently, though, Synergy have concocted a 0-watt power amplifier. There's a tiny little transformer in there. And I've seen it. It's like that big, itty bitty little. So the way they have it implemented, the master volume actually changes the tone, and it took me a while to kind of reset up my system to accommodate for that, because you'll run out of max volume headroom on the module at a certain point, and I'll show you that too. But for now, we're going to stick to what we have here with the gain at about 9 o'clock, bass and treble. If I said mid earlier, I was wrong. It's just bass, treble, and cut. And the cut on here is, the pot is backwards from the actual amp, so turning it to the right clockwise is more bright end, more top end, and rolling it back counterclockwise takes out the high end. It's the opposite on the actual amplifier, before anybody jumps down my throat about that. That's the one thing I do know. So let's start with the gain, and we'll mess with that, and we'll check out the speed and comfort, and I'll kind of give you an idea what that does. Oh, by the way, DiMarzio deactivators in my Ibanez S320, and I've got some coil splits. What you heard at the beginning there was the Bridgemost coil of my bridge pickup, which is like the closest thing I have to a Tele. I have a strap back here too, but I don't feel like grabbing it right now. And then the Neckmost of the neck pickup there, so I can get some good single coil tones out of this thing. But we'll do humbuckers to start, and it sounds like this. Let's go to that back coil in the bridge. Let's go neck single coil. Super glassy, super wonderful, but it'll take something hitting it harder. Let's roll it says volume, I'm going to call it gain because I'm dumb. Back to the single coil. It's just pleasant to listen to, really. And if that high end is a little bit too much, of course, we've got the cut control. Compared to... Awesome. Doesn't make it completely dull and lifeless. Just filters out those really, really super high sorts of things. I'm going to leave it about noon. Go back to the bridge here and we'll talk about the comfort speed selection. So we've been in comfort this whole time. What that does to my ear and to the feel of it to me is that it feels a little bit more squishy and a little bit more compressed. And when you put it in speed mode, it's a little bit more dynamic and open. I wouldn't say it changes the gain itself, like the distortion characteristic, the saturation. It's just the overall kind of push and pull of the thing. So with it in comfort mode, it kind of sags and... Put it in speed. Leaps out of the speaker a little bit more. Back to comfort. It really is just sort of a preference sort of thing. I'm still kind of discovering this module, and I don't know that I have a favorite. I kind of just go based on what I feel. I tend to prefer speed. I tend to prefer more open sounds anyway. But yeah, so we'll stick to speed, and let's dig into the EQ, and then I'll show you how the master volume affects the tone. Actually, before I even do that, we haven't even wound the gain all the way up. Let's go back to humbucker. Forgot to mention I have a Strymon Flint doing the spring reverb on the back end there. Just felt right. Back to humbucker. So it can rock, and you put it in comfort mode. Tends to sit back a little bit more. Jumps out a little bit more. Full whack on the gain, speed mode. Take it to the neck humbucker. Plenty of range on this thing. Let's go back to about midway there, and I'm going to keep us on that bridge single coil. Feels right, man. Let's mess with the bass control. Roll all the way off. Back up. Fills out nicely, warms it up. Let's mess with the, let's pull that back to noon. Let's mess with the treble. Still has some, like, upper mids. It's there. Like, even if I pull the cut all the way back to let all of those other highs in. It's got plenty of definition. In fact, if we roll the cut all the way back too. That's as dark as it gets. I don't know that I'd want it much more darker than that. If I did, I'd just throw an EQ in the loop or something. But this is just a bright module. Anyway, let's go cut back to noon and treble up. See if we can tame that with the cut. Nope. That treble can get away from you very easily. Let's go neck humbucker and see what the treble does. Fatter pickup helps it, but like, man, that's just bright, man. Don't think I want it much brighter than that. It works. So, go back to the bridge humbucker. I'm going to kick our master volume down. I'll kick our in gain volume. Keep that nice and clean. So, I'm going to start bringing up the master volume. You're going to hear it get louder to a point, and then it's just going to start to hit its own ceiling. Starts absorbing some of those highs. fact, if we bring the treble up, it kind of helps balance itself with the treble up and the volume up. And I'm not even clipping the torpedo. Like, the torpedo is reading the same here and here. It just fattens up and gets thicker. So, neat little feature. So my one complaint, and it's not even a complaint, it might just be a characteristic of the amp, it doesn't take drive pedals super well. Editor Bobby here. I've always wanted to do that transition. So listening back, it doesn't sound horrible, actually, when I hit the Z-Rec with a bunch of overdrives. Honestly, it kind of felt a little mushy when I was playing it, but listening back, not having the guitar in my lap while I'm doing it, that does change your perspective. And I will say it sounds good. I mean, it sounds perfectly usable. It doesn't sound like crap or anything. So, yeah, take everything I say in this next section with a grain of salt. And, yeah, let's get back to the video. It's very picky about the drive. And I've noticed that brighter drives especially kind of splat out. And then if they're too thick in the low end too, it just kind of folds in on itself. Let's what do I got here? So many options. I'm gonna hit a Wampler Bell, which is their take on a Nobels ODR 1, the other green overdrive, without. That's actually not bad. Take the treble down a little bit on the module. That sounds pretty good, actually, but let's hit it with a Tumless, which is their take on a Klon. It feels like it's almost too much for the amp. Like, I know the Tumness is gonna, lop off some of the lows, but it's like all honk. And then if I roll the treble back up, not the forbidden riff. Just takes all that out. What about a Muse driver? Let's just try it. Everything on noon on the Muse driver. It's got this weird grain to it. I rolled the tone back, it actually sounded like it lost bottom, too. Don't like that. How about a Tube Screamer? Doable. What the heck, we're messing around. Let's hit the overdrive side of the Rev Tilt, Sean Tubbs signature. Volume just past noon, gain at 9 o'clock. Let's do treble at like 12:30 and bass at like 11:30. I don't know, man. The way the mids on this thing soak up overdrives, it doesn't work for me. And that shouldn't necessarily be a turnoff. you know, it's a characterful amp in and of itself. I will say the one thing this thing does take is, if you're into that sort of chicken picking thing, which I cannot do, would be some heavy compression. So I've got a Wampler Ego set pretty aggressively here. Let's hear it without, and we'll hit that last coil there. Ego in. Some lousy playing, how about that? But yeah, it takes the compressor really well. I don't particularly care personally how it takes overdrives, but I have plenty of other modules that take overdrives extremely well, so I can't say that I'm like disappointed in this module. It just kind of surprised me the way it just does a weird thing in the mid-range that I'm not a fan of. Maybe you liked it, I don't know. It took the bell okay, but the bell's pretty neutral. If anything, it's got hyped lows and highs, so I don't know. Tell you what I do know. It sounds great, though, on its own. You guys have been wonderful. I am Bobby. I am trying to do this for a living right now. I got fired recently. Sympathy. I got laid off, for, budget reasons, I guess. But that's okay. It gives me some chance to work some more on this sort of thing. So hope you like it. Leave a comment, subscribe if you want to see more. I've got more in the pipeline, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Oh wait, we gotta hit the tremolo there. Yeah, that's the stuff.